At the end of the Second World War, the story of the code breaking at Bletchley was kept completely secret, and the British government probably planned to keep it secret forever. They didn't really want to talk about it. But the first information came out in about 1975 when Frederick Winterbottom, who worked at Bletchley Park, wrote a book describing his experience. But also that was permitted because information had come out in the United States and in France that gave away, Bertrand had published his book and that gave away some of the story. So the secret was kind of already out. So the British government decided that they should make some of the information public. The story came out first in the 1970s, and then the story of Turing came out because Gordon Welshman, who worked at Bletchley Park, wrote his book, The Hutsik Story, which was all about the breaking of Enigma, and he talked about Turing in his book in 1982. And then in 1983, Andrew Hodges, who is an Oxford academic, wrote a long biography of Turing, and that told the story of his whole life. So it was the story was public quite quickly after the secret was revealed, but I think it's only in the last 5 or 10 years that Turing has become a really well-known public figure. He was out there if you wanted to look for him, but he wasn't massively famous. But in the last, I would say since 2010, he's become a much bigger historical personality. And now he's on a banknote, so...
Yeah, was it because of the film?
The Imitation Game film in 2014 was a big influencer on his story. Certainly, and the interest since 2014 has just grown and grown. But the people who were interested in the subject knew about it prior to that. The problem with Alan Turing is that he wrote his academic papers, but we don't have very much other information about him from him himself. He didn't write his own memoirs or anything because, of course, he died in 1954 and all of his work at Bletchley Park was still secret. So he didn't have the opportunity to tell his own story. And I've not seen anything in the materials written by Turing that references the work in Poland. But the only place it would be really is in what's called Prof's book, which was his book about, his document about Enigma, where he described his own bomb machine. And that's a technical manual, not a historical document, so there would be no reason for him to mention it. So I'm not aware that he ever talked about it. But you have to remember, of course, that he didn't go to Piri. Knox and Denniston and Sandwith went to Piri, but Turing only found out about that second-hand, although he did go to Paris in January 40, so there would be a story to tell there. I would love it if Alan Turing had written about his trip to Paris, but we have, there are documents discussing his visit written by Denniston around, which are now available in the archives in London, which describe his trip, but we don't have anything directly from Turing about meeting the Polish codebreakers, unfortunately.